All right, let's dive into e-commerce today.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at the strategies of Akun Yilmaz.
Mm-hmm.
And Akun has built quite a following
Yeah.
by claiming he holds the keys to financial freedom
Right.
through selling on eBay and Amazon.
Interesting.
And we have an exclusive interview with Akun
Wow.
where he answers 50 questions
Okay.
about succeeding in this space,
Cool.
particularly on eBay.
What's interesting is Akin doesn't just talk theory.
Okay.
He's actually living the lifestyle he promotes.
Uh-huh.
He's broadcasting from a London park
Wow.
while he's traveling.
Okay.
And he sprinkles in anecdotes about how he achieved his financial independence.
So let's start with dropshipping.
Okay.
Akun kind of lays out the concept simply.
Yeah.
You list products,
Right.
someone buys it, you buy it wholesale,
Okay.
and it gets shipped directly to the customer.
So you're the link in the chain.
Right.
But he really emphasizes eBay as the platform,
Yeah.
especially for beginners. He argues that eBay is more dropshipping friendly than Amazon,
Interesting.
which has much stricter policies.
Okay.
And he suggests CJ dropshipping
Yeah.
as a good source for legitimate wholesale products. So you stay compliant.
Okay.
But he makes a clear distinction between eBay and Shopify.
Right. He acknowledges that Shopify can be powerful,
Yeah.
but believes it's better suited for established businesses.
Okay.
He sees eBay as the perfect launch pad because you instantly tap into a massive audience without the need for huge ad budgets.
Right. So it's like having a built-in customer base from day one.
Exactly.
That's a key part of his philosophy, starting simple and scaling strategically.
Yeah.
He even reveals that he doubles his own listings every week as a method for controlled growth.
Now, I'm curious about product selection.
Yeah.
Does he suggest any specific categories?
I think he hammers home the importance of real-world market awareness, which I found pretty insightful.
Oh.
He uses this great analogy.
You okay?
If you see everyone buying umbrellas on a rainy day,
Yeah.
you don't need an algorithm to tell you there's a demand.
That makes total sense.
It's about observation
Yeah.
and adaptability.
Sometimes the most obvious signs are the ones we overlook.
Right.
But what about the source of these products?
Mm-hmm.
Does he advocate going with the cheapest option?
Actually, he cautions against dropshipping from AliExpress,
Okay.
particularly for those just starting out.
Interesting.
He points to potential shipping delays that could lead to unhappy customers
Right?
and even account issues on eBay.
Right.
Instead, he suggests looking at local options like
sure.
Walmart for faster shipping and less risk.
So that's interesting because it challenges the assumption that going overseas is always the cheapest route.
Yeah.
So it's more nuanced than simply finding the lowest price.
He also tackles a pretty sensitive issue,
Okay.
manipulating tracking numbers to disguise the origin of the product.
That sounds a bit ethically gray.
Definitely. And he strongly advises against it.
Okay.
He's a big advocate for transparency, highlighting that eBay systems are getting increasingly adept
Right.
at detecting this kind of manipulation.
So it seems like he's promoting a sustainable long-term approach rather than quick tricks or shortcuts.
Absolutely. And that ties into another point he stresses.
Yeah.
The need for proper knowledge and training in dropshipping.
Okay.
He compares learning from random YouTube videos
Yeah?
to trying to learn a language by talking to random people on the street. You might pick up bits and pieces,
Right.
but you won't become fluent.
So he's advocating for structured learning
Yes.
over haphazard approach. I can definitely see the value in that.
He also highlights the crucial role of customer service,
Okay.
calling it the golden rule of his business.
Right.
He talks about treating customers with empathy
Yeah.
and going above and beyond to resolve their problems.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Especially in the age of online reviews where reputation can make or break you.
Right.
Happy customers are your best advocates.
For sure.
What about getting those listings seen by potential buyers? Does he offer any tips for navigating eBay's search algorithm?
He certainly does.
Okay.
He dives into the importance of keyword research,
Right.
using tools to figure out what people are actually searching for. He even reveals how subtle changes,
Right.
like adding a simple word,
Yeah.
like red, to a listing title can have a significant impact on sales.
It's amazing how much data plays into successful e-commerce.
Right.
It's like a whole other language you need to learn.
He's a big proponent of data-driven optimization, and when it comes to pricing strategy, he's got a very clear approach.
Okay.
He advises setting prices 100% above the cost of goods.
Okay, that's a hefty markup.
He's transparent about this,
Okay.
even breaking down his estimated costs for things like software, labor, and advertising to show how this strategy leads to healthy profits, even after accounting for taxes.
But I guess it makes sense if your costs are well controlled.
He cautions against simply competing on price, encouraging listeners to really understand their costs and focus on long-term profitability rather than getting caught in a race to the bottom.
So he's essentially saying you need to know your numbers inside and out to make this work.
Yeah.
It's not just about buying low and selling high.
He also delves into a specific scenario that I think highlights his approach to navigating the complexities of e-commerce. He addresses what to do if you get a drop shipping order through eBay, but the product is actually listed on Amazon.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So you're essentially using eBay for marketing and Amazon for fulfillment. Is that even allowed?
He says it's perfectly fine, as long as you're following the rules. You place the order on Amazon using your account. But have it shipped directly to the eBay customer.
So you're bridging the gap between two major platforms.
Exactly. And he stresses the importance of transparency here.
Right.
Don't try to hide the fact that you're drop shipping from Amazon. eBay's policies are clear on this.
It goes back to that ethical foundation he's been emphasizing throughout.
Yeah.
It seems like he believes that trying to game the system is a recipe for disaster.
He makes it very clear that eBay's algorithms are becoming increasingly sophisticated. So honesty is truly the best policy in this case.
But what about returns? That's always a tricky area for online sellers.
Right.
Does he offer any guidance on handling those?
He does. His first piece of advice is to check the return policy of your dropshipping supplier. Because some are more flexible than others.
Right.
Once you know their policy, you communicate that clearly to the customer.
So it's about managing expectations up front and being transparent about the process.
Right. If the supplier accepts the return, you provide the customer with their return address and any specific instructions. The customer then ships the product directly back to the supplier. And once they receive it, you issue the refund through eBay.
So you're basically facilitating the communication between the two parties.
Yeah.
It seems like good customer service is paramount in this model.
All right.
You're essentially the face of the transaction, even though you're not handling the product directly.
He shares anecdotes about how his commitment to customer service has not only resulted in positive reviews, but also cultivated long-term customer relationships, which can be invaluable for a growing business.
So we've covered drop shipping, product selection, sourcing customer service, and even returns.
Right.
What about the financial side of things? Does he offer any advice?
He does, but with a responsible disclaimer. He emphasizes that he's not a tax professional and recommends consulting with a qualified accountant for specific advice.
It's good that he acknowledges his limitations. And doesn't try to play the role of tax expert.
So what's his general approach to handling taxes in his business?
He focuses on calculating profit margin after deducting all expenses, including software, labor, and advertising costs. He then sets aside a portion of that profit to cover his tax obligations.
So it's all about meticulous bookkeeping and understanding your true profitability to ensure you're prepared come tax season. He stresses the importance of being proactive and avoiding any unpleasant surprises when it comes to taxes.
Now, shifting gears a bit.
There's
a topic he mentions that I think warrants a deeper dive. eBay's Vero program. This sounds like something all e-commerce sellers should be aware of.
It's a crucial aspect of the eBay ecosystem. But he unfortunately doesn't delve into it as much as some other topics. Essentially, it's a system for protecting intellectual property rights. Brands and manufacturers can enroll in the Vero program, and if they believe someone is selling counterfeit or unauthorized versions of their products, they can report it to eBay.
So this is how eBay cracks down on fakes. And protects both brands and consumers. But what are the implications for sellers, especially those engaged in drop shipping?
He emphasizes the importance of taking Vero seriously if you receive a notice, you need to immediately remove the listing and ensure you're not selling any prohibited products.
You really need to know your suppliers.
Yeah.
And the legitimacy of their products.
Absolutely. And if you're drop shipping, the responsibility falls on you to verify that your suppliers are sourcing their products ethically and legally.
So it's another layer of due diligence when building a sustainable drop shipping business.
Right.
You can't just blindly trust that your supplier is handling everything above board.
He also discusses the role of software tools in managing a dropshipping business. He mentions using tools for product research, listing management, order tracking, and even customer service.
It sounds like there's a whole ecosystem of tools designed to streamline the dropshipping process.
There is. He highlights the value of these tools for automating tasks and freeing up your time. But he also cautions against over-reliance on software, especially if you don't fully understand how it works.
It's that balance between leveraging technology effectively while retaining control and understanding of your business operations.
Yeah.
But let's talk about getting those products seen by potential buyers. Does he discuss eBay's advertising platform?
He's actually a big fan of it.
Okay.
He explains that you essentially pay a commission on sales generated from promoted listings.
So you're only paying when you're actually making money?
Right.
That seems like a pretty attractive model, especially for beginners who might not have large ad budgets.
He sees it as a great way to level the playing field and compete with larger sellers without breaking the bank.
Right.
But he doesn't dismiss the importance of organic search either.
So it's about finding the right balance between paid advertising and optimizing your listings to rank high in organic search results.
Exactly. He talks about utilizing SEO strategies, using keyword research tools to identify relevant terms, and strategically incorporating those keywords into listing titles and descriptions.
So it's a multifaceted approach to getting your products in front of the right customers.
He even shares a simple but effective tip. Adding specific color terms to your listing titles can significantly impact sales.
Okay.
For example, adding the word red to a listing for a red dress can make a difference.
It's all about understanding how buyers are searching for products and tailoring your listings to match their behavior.
Right. It's about putting yourself in the buyer's shoes and thinking about what they would type into the search bar.
Okay.
He also addresses the challenge of increasing customer reviews on eBay. He underscores the importance of providing outstanding customer service and exceeding expectations.
Because happy customers are much more likely to leave positive reviews.
Right.
But is it okay to actually ask customers for reviews on eBay? I've heard that's frowned upon on some platforms.
He clarifies that eBay's policies explicitly prohibit directly asking for feedback.
Okay.
However, he offers a clever workaround, thanking customers for their business and encouraging them to share their thoughts so you can continue to improve your service.
It's all about framing the request in a way that aligns with eBay's guidelines while still achieving your goal.
He's all about working within the rules, but finding creative ways to maximize success.
Now, shifting to specific product categories.
Okay.
He reveals his top-performing category, automotive.
He explains that eBay has deep roots in the automotive industry, which continues to be a dominant category on the platform.
So if someone is looking for a potentially lucrative market on eBay, automotive might be a good starting point.
He acknowledges the competition, but believes the market size and demand make it worthwhile.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of thorough research and identifying categories that align with your personal interests and expertise. You don't want to force yourself into a niche that you find boring or overwhelming.
It's about finding that sweet spot between market opportunity and personal passion.
Exactly. Passion and enthusiasm can be major drivers of success, especially in the fast-paced world of e-commerce.
Now, for those who have found some success and are looking to scale their operations, what advice does he offer?
He emphasizes a gradual approach to increasing sales volume to avoid triggering eBay's fraud detection systems.
That seems to be a recurring theme. Slow and steady growth is key to long-term success.
He also highlights the importance of optimizing listings for mobile devices, as more and more people are shopping on their phones and tablets these days.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the desktop view and forget about the mobile experience.
He also talks about the importance of building a strong team.
Okay.
As your business expands, he suggests outsourcing tasks like customer service and order fulfillment to free up your time to focus on strategic decisions.
So it's not just about working hard.
Yeah.
It's about working smart and leveraging the expertise of others to scale effectively.
He also delves into the importance of mindset, highlighting a common pitfall, analysis paralysis. He observes that many people get stuck, overthinking, and researching every detail without taking action.
It's that classic ready, aim, fire mentality.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to jump in and adjust course as you go.
He advocates for a just get started approach, believing you learn more by doing than by simply thinking about doing.
So assuming someone is ready to take the plunge, what's the financial investment required to get a dropshipping business up and running on eBay?
He suggests having $100, $500 to cover initial expenses like product costs, software subscriptions, and advertising fees.
That's surprisingly affordable.
Yeah.
Seems like you don't need to break the bank to dip your toes into the world of dropshipping.
Exactly. You don't need to invest in inventory or rent a warehouse, which significantly lowers the financial risk. You can start small and scale gradually as you gain experience and confidence.
Okay.
But he's also realistic about the potential pitfalls, highlighting 3 common mistakes he sees people make when starting out.
Oh, I'm all ears.
Okay.
What are these rookie mistakes to avoid?
First, he cautions against relying solely on free information from YouTube videos and blog posts. He acknowledges that these resources can be helpful, but emphasizes that they often provide incomplete or outdated information.
It circles back to his point about investing in structured guidance.
Yeah.
Free information can be valuable, but it often comes with caveats.
His second point is about address consistency.
Okay.
He observes that many beginners try to conceal the fact that they're drop shipping by using a fake US or UK address on their eBay account, even though they're based in another country.
That seems like a risky move that could easily backfire.
Often it does.
Yeah.
He stresses the importance of transparency regarding your location and operating within the established rules.
It's that recurring theme of honesty and integrity.
Yeah.
It seems to underpin his entire approach to e-commerce.
And his final point is about properly linking your bank account to your eBay account.
Okay.
He says that many people make mistakes during this process, which can lead to delays in receiving payments or even account suspensions.
So it's not just about setting up your listings and finding products. It's about ensuring the back end of your business is running smoothly as well.
Exactly. It's those small details that can often make or break your success.
But speaking of success, what are the key takeaways he leaves us with?
Well,
what's the secret sauce to thriving in the world of e-commerce?
He stresses the importance of continuous learning, adapting to market changes, and building a solid reputation based on trust and customer satisfaction. He also encourages listeners to invest in themselves and their businesses.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to get so caught up in the day-to-day that you forget to invest in the bigger picture.
His final piece of advice is perhaps the most straightforward yet profound. Take action.
It's the classic just do it philosophy.
He believes that the biggest obstacle to success is often our own inertia.
Sometimes you just have to overcome the fear of failure and take that first step.
That's a great point to end on, don't you think?
He's certainly provided a comprehensive overview of his approach to e-commerce.
Yeah.
But before we return to reality,
there's
one more intriguing question we should explore.
I'm listening.
Akun paints a compelling picture of financial freedom through e-commerce. But how realistic is this vision for everyone? Is it truly a path to unlimited income and a life of international travel? Or are there hidden costs and challenges he hasn't addressed?
Those are excellent questions.
We need to separate the hype from the reality. What stands out to you as potential red flags or things listeners should be aware of?
For starters, Akun is selling a dream. Financial freedom, international travel, all thanks to his e-commerce strategies.
It's a powerful message, especially for people who are feeling stuck or dissatisfied with their current situation?
It's the classic entrepreneurial narrative. Anyone can achieve success if they just follow the right formula.
Right.
But the reality is, of course, much more complex. E-commerce is a competitive and constantly evolving landscape.
Right.
What works today might be obsolete tomorrow. And even with the best strategies in place, success is never guaranteed.
Akun himself mentions that he's had accounts shut down.
Yeah.
Encountered problems with suppliers, and dealt with the typical headaches of running an online business.
Exactly. He doesn't shy away from the challenges.
Yeah.
But there's always a risk of overemphasizing the highlights and downplaying the struggles.
Right.
It's important to remember that Akun is a seasoned entrepreneur with a deep understanding of e-commerce.
Okay.
Not everyone starts with that level of knowledge and intuition.
Plus, he's built a personal brand around his success. There's a financial incentive for him to promote this lifestyle.
Right.
Even if it's not attainable for everyone.
That's a key consideration. We have to be mindful of whose interests are being served by the narrative being presented.
Right.
While Akun's strategies might genuinely help some achieve financial success, they're not a magic bullet.
And there's always the risk of survivorship bias.
Yes.
We tend to hear from the people who have succeeded, not the ones who tried and failed.
Exactly. For every Akun Yilmaz, there are probably countless others who attempted dropshipping and didn't achieve the same results.
Right.
Their stories are just as important, but often less visible.
So what does all this mean for our listener? Should they abandon their e-commerce aspirations altogether?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But it's crucial to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism and realism.
Right.
Akun's strategies can be valuable tools, but they're not a shortcut to instant wealth.
Okay.
Success in e-commerce, like any business, requires dedication, adaptability, and a willingness to continuously learn and evolve.
And perhaps most importantly, a realistic understanding of the risks involved.
Yeah.
It's not all sunshine and roses, even for someone like Akun.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the real takeaway here is the importance of critical thinking. Especially in today's information-saturated online world, we're bombarded with success stories and get-rich-quick schemes, all promising effortless wealth and fulfillment.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and overlook the potential downsides.
That's why it's crucial to ask questions, dig deeper, and critically evaluate the information we're consuming. Akun's story is a valuable case study, but it's only one piece of the puzzle.
So our final thought-provoking question for the listener today is this.
Okay.
How can you apply Akun's insights while remaining grounded in reality?
That's a great question.
What steps can you take to build a sustainable and ethical e-commerce business that aligns with your own values and goals?
That's the real challenge, and one worth exploring. The world of e-commerce is vast and ever-changing, but with careful planning, a critical mindset, and a dash of entrepreneurial spirit, who knows what you might achieve?
Until next time, keep diving deep, and remember to always question the easy answers.
Great advice. Picking up where we left off, Akun also touches on eBay's Verified Rights Owner Program, or VRO. It's a system designed to protect intellectual property, and it has significant implications for anyone selling on eBay.
That sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
How does it actually work?
So basically, brands and manufacturers can enroll in the VRO program. If they find someone selling counterfeit or unauthorized versions of their products, they can report it directly to eBay.
So it's eBay's way of cracking down on fakes.
Right.
And protecting both brands and buyers?
Exact.
But how does this affect sellers?
Yeah.
Especially those new to dropshipping.
Akun stresses the importance of understanding and respecting your. If you get a notice, you need to act quickly, remove the listing, and make sure you're not selling any prohibited items.
It sounds like ignorance isn't a valid defense.
No, not at all.
You really need to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
And understand the products you're listing.
Absolutely. And if you're drop shipping, it's crucial to vet your suppliers carefully. You have to be confident they're sourcing their products ethically and legally.
It adds another layer of complexity to running a drop shipping business. You can't just assume your supplier is handling everything by the book.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about software tools. Akun mentions using a variety of tools to manage his dropshipping business. Everything from product research to order tracking and customer service.
It seems like there's an entire ecosystem of software designed to streamline the dropshipping process.
He highlights the value of these tools, especially for automating tasks and freeing up your time to focus on strategic decisions.
All right.
However, he also cautions against becoming overly reliant on software, particularly if you don't fully understand its functionality.
Yeah. It's about finding that balance between leveraging technology and maintaining a clear understanding of your business operations.
Exactly. You want to be in control, not just blindly following what the software tells you to do.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of understanding eBay's policies and using software strategically.
Right.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of marketing.
Okay.
How does Akun recommend getting your listings seen by potential buyers?
He's actually a big advocate for eBay's advertising platform, which operates on a pay-for-performance model.
Okay.
You essentially pay a commission on sales generated from your promoted listings.
So you only pay when you're actually making money.
Right.
This seems like a pretty appealing model.
Yeah.
Especially for beginners who might not have huge advertising budgets.
He sees it as a level playing field, allowing smaller sellers to compete with larger ones without spending a fortune on advertising.
Right. But he doesn't discount the power of organic search either.
Exactly.
So it's about striking that balance.
Yeah.
It's between paid advertising and optimizing your listings for organic search results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He talks about using SEO strategies, utilizing keyword research tools to identify relevant search terms, and strategically incorporating those keywords into your listing titles and descriptions.
So it's a multifaceted approach to reaching the right customers.
He even shares a simple but powerful tip. Adding specific color terms to your listing titles can significantly impact sales. For example, adding red to a listing for a red dress can make a noticeable difference.
It's fascinating how seemingly small details like that can have a significant impact.
It all comes down to understanding how buyers search for products and tailoring your listings to match their behavior.
Speaking of buyers, Akun also discusses the challenge of getting more customer reviews on eBay. He, of course, emphasizes providing exceptional customer service as the foundation for positive reviews.
He believes that going above and beyond for your customers will naturally lead to positive feedback.
But is it okay to actually ask customers for reviews on eBay?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know some platforms discourage that practice.
He clarifies that eBay's policies strictly prohibit directly asking for feedback. However, he offers a clever workaround.
All right, what is it?
Instead of directly soliciting reviews, he suggests thanking customers for their business and encouraging them to share their thoughts so you can continue to improve.
So it's a subtle but effective way to nudge them in the right direction.
Exactly.
Without violating eBay's rules.
It's another example of his approach to working within the system while maximizing results.
Now, for those just starting out, what are some common pitfalls they should avoid?
Akun highlights a few crucial mistakes he often sees beginners make.
All right, like what?
The first is relying solely on free information found on platforms like YouTube or blogs. While he acknowledges that these can be helpful starting points, he emphasizes that they often provide incomplete or outdated information.
So he reinforces his earlier point about the value of investing in structured guidance and mentorship.
The second mistake he mentions is inconsistency with addresses.
Okay.
He's noticed that many new sellers try to mask their dropshipping activities by using a fake US or UK address on their eBay account.
Yeah.
Even if they're operating from another country.
That seems like a risky strategy that could easily backfire.
It often does.
Okay.
He stresses that transparency about your location is crucial and that attempting to deceive eBay's systems is a recipe for trouble.
It circles back to his core principle of honesty and operating within the rules.
His final point is about the importance of properly linking your bank account to your eBay account.
Okay.
He observes that many beginners make errors during this process, leading to delays in payments or even account suspensions.
So it's a reminder that the operational aspects of your business are just as important as the marketing and sales strategy.
Yes, exactly. Every detail matters when you're building a successful e-commerce operation.
Okay, now when it comes to selecting a product category, Akun reveals that his top performing category is automotive.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Why does he think automotive is such a strong category on eBay?
He explains that eBay has deep roots in the automotive industry, which continues to be a dominant category on the platform. But he also acknowledges that it's a highly competitive space.
So the potential rewards are high. But so are the challenges.
Exactly.
What advice does he offer for navigating such a competitive market?
He stresses the importance of thorough research and identifying subcategories within automotive that might be less saturated.
Okay.
And he always emphasizes aligning your product choices with your own interests and expertise.
So passion and knowledge are key factors
Yeah.
in choosing the right niche.
Right. You don't want to force yourself into a category that you find boring or overwhelming.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where market opportunity and personal passion intersect.
He also provides guidance for those who are ready to scale their dropshipping businesses.
Okay.
He reiterates the importance of gradually increasing sales volume to avoid triggering eBay's fraud detection systems.
That seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah.
Slow and steady growth is key to long-term success.
He also highlights the importance of optimizing listings for mobile devices.
Right.
As more and more people are shopping on their phones and tablets these days.
It's easy to forget about the mobile experience when you're working from a desktop.
Right.
But it's crucial for reaching a wider audience.
Absolutely. And as your business grows, he emphasizes the importance of building a strong team.
Okay.
He suggests outsourcing tasks like customer service and order fulfillment to free up your time and energy to focus on strategic decisions.
So it's about working smart, not just working hard.
Yeah.
You can achieve more by leveraging the skills and expertise of others.
Now let's talk about mindset.
Okay. Akun points out a common obstacle that many aspiring entrepreneurs face, analysis paralysis.
Okay.
He's observed that many people get stuck,
Right.
overthinking and researching every detail without taking action.
It's that fear of making a mistake that can paralyze you and prevent you from moving forward.
He advocates for a just get started approach, believing that you learn more by doing than by simply thinking about doing.
Okay, for those wondering about the financial investment required to start dropshipping on eBay, Akun suggests having a budget of $100–$500 to cover initial expenses like product costs, software subscriptions, and advertising fees.
That's surprisingly affordable.
Right. It seems like dropshipping offers a relatively low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Compared to other business models?
He believes that's one of the most attractive aspects of dropshipping.
Okay.
You don't need to invest in inventory or rent a warehouse, which significantly reduces the financial risk.
You can start small and scale gradually as you gain experience and confidence.
So Akun has covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From navigating eBay's policies to selecting the right product category and scaling your business. It's clear that he's passionate about sharing his knowledge and helping others achieve success in e-commerce.
For sure.
But there's one question that lingers in my mind.
Okay.
Just how attainable is the lifestyle he promotes?
That's a great point.
His story is undoubtedly inspiring, but it's essential to look at it with a critical eye and consider the broader context.
Absolutely.
We need to separate the hype from the reality and address the potential challenges and risks involved.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Well, Akun is essentially selling a dream.
Okay.
Financial freedom, international travel, all thanks to his e-commerce strategies.
It's a powerful message, especially for those feeling dissatisfied with their current lives.
It's the classic entrepreneurial narrative. Anyone can achieve success if they just follow the right formula.
But the reality is often much more nuanced.
Yeah.
E-commerce is a fiercely competitive and constantly evolving landscape. What works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
And even with the best strategies in place, success is never guaranteed.
He's transparent about the fact that he's faced challenges along the way.
Yeah.
He's had accounts shut down, encountered problems with suppliers, and dealt with the everyday headaches that come with running any business.
He doesn't shy away from those difficulties.
Right.
But there's always a risk of overemphasizing the highlights and downplaying the struggles. It's crucial to remember that Akun is a seasoned entrepreneur with a deep understanding of e-commerce.
Okay.
Not everyone starts with that level of knowledge and intuition.
And he's built a personal brand around his success.
Right.
There's a financial incentive for him to promote this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even if it might not be attainable for everyone.
That's an important consideration. Yeah. We need to be mindful of who benefits from the narrative being presented. Okay. While Akun's strategies might genuinely help some people achieve financial success, They're not a guaranteed path to riches.
And there's always the risk of survivorship bias.
Exactly.
We tend to hear from the people who have succeeded.
Right.
Not the ones who tried and failed.
Exactly. For every Akun Yilmaz, there are probably countless others who attempted dropshipping.
Right.
And didn't achieve the same level of success. Their stories are just as important, but often go untold.
So what does all this mean for our listener? Should they give up on their e-commerce aspirations?
Not at all.
Okay.
But it's crucial to approach it with a balanced perspective, understanding both the potential rewards and the inherent risks.
Okay.
Akun's strategies can be valuable tools, but they're not a shortcut to instant wealth.
Right.
Success in e-commerce, like any entrepreneurial venture, requires hard work, adaptability, and a willingness to continuously learn and evolve.
And perhaps most importantly, a realistic understanding of the challenges involved.
Exactly.
It's not all smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Even for someone with Akun's experience and expertise.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the real takeaway here is the importance of critical thinking. In today's online world, we're constantly bombarded with success stories, get-rich-quick schemes, and promises of effortless wealth and fulfillment.
It's easy to get swept up in the hype and lose sight of the potential downsides.
That's why it's essential to ask questions, dig deeper, and critically evaluate the information we're consuming.
Right.
Akun's story is a valuable case study, but it's just one perspective within a vast and complex landscape.
So our final thought-provoking question for the listener today is this.
Okay.
How can you apply Akun's insights while staying grounded in reality?
That's the real challenge.
What steps can you take to build a sustainable and ethical e-commerce business?
Yeah, it aligns with your own values and goals.
That's the real challenge, and one worth exploring carefully.
Right.
The world of e-commerce is constantly changing, but with meticulous planning, a critical mindset, and a dash of entrepreneurial spirit, there's no telling what you might achieve.
Until next time. Keep diving deep, and remember to always question the easy answers. Akun really does a good job weaving in his own experiences,
Yeah.
and using them to, illustrate his points.
Right, it's like those mini case studies within the larger conversation.
It makes it more relatable.
Yeah.
But like we've been saying, it's important to keep that critical lens.
For sure.
And not get carried away by, the dream.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He also stresses the importance of continuous learning and adaptation.
Yeah.
Especially in the fast-paced world of e-commerce. He talks about how he's had to adjust his strategies over time. To stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
Especially with eBay's evolving algorithms and policies. He seems to embrace change.
Yeah.
Rather than resisting it.
Absolutely.
Which is probably a key trait for any successful entrepreneur.
He also emphasizes the importance of building a strong support network. He talks about the value of mentors, coaches, and even just connecting with other entrepreneurs to share experiences and learn from each other.
It's easy to feel isolated when you're running your own business.
Right, especially in the online world.
Yeah.
Having that community of like-minded individuals can provide invaluable support and guidance.
He even talks about the importance of mindset and self-care. He emphasizes the need to manage stress, avoid burnout, and maintain a healthy work-life balance.
It's a good reminder that entrepreneurial success isn't just about financial gain.
Right.
It's also about personal well-being.
Exactly.
And fulfillment.
He seems to advocate for a holistic approach to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Recognizing that success in business is intertwined with success in life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your final thoughts on Akun's approach to e-commerce and the insights he shared?
I think he offers a really valuable perspective.
Yeah.
Particularly for those looking to leverage platforms like eBay and Amazon to build an online business.
He's clearly passionate about dropshipping and has developed a system that's worked for him.
But it's crucial for listeners to approach his advice with a discerning eye.
For sure.
Recognizing that his experiences might not be universally replicable.
Exactly. E-commerce is a complex and dynamic landscape. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
It's about taking the principles he outlines and adapting them to your own unique circumstances and goals.
So our final takeaway for the listener today is Akun's story is a source of inspiration and valuable insights. But it's not a blueprint for guaranteed success.
The real journey begins when you take the knowledge you've gained, apply it thoughtfully, and chart your own path in the exciting world of e-commerce.
And remember, the learning never stops.
Right. The e-commerce landscape is constantly evolving. So staying curious, adaptable, and connected to a community of like-minded individuals will be crucial for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Yes.
And always remember to question the easy answers.